Hey everyone, thanks again for joining another Slim Sports interview. As always, I am your host, JD, and joining me today is a 6'2" guard out of Northern Kentucky, a dominant scorer, one of the best players in the Horizon League, Marques Warrick. How's it going, my guy?
Seconds to shoot for the Norse. Here's Marques Warrick. Step back three, drills it.
I'm doing good. How's everything going?
I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed to have you on here. You had a phenomenal season this past year, really helped your team out a lot, being a true leader, a true dominant player, and it helped lead you guys all the way to the NCAA tournament. Every team's biggest goal, making that tournament where you got to play the number one seed Houston right off the bat and gave them a really tough game. We're going to get into that here in a moment. But talk to me real quick about this past season as a whole. What was that like for you guys and your team, and what did you do to really succeed throughout this season?
Oh yeah, man. I couldn't complain about anything, honestly. We got to our end goal, which is to the NCAA tournament, winning the Horizon League championship, and that's one of the reasons why I came to NKU is to bring a championship to Highland Heights. And so, like I said, can't complain. We put in the work all season, and we came together as a team through the end, and it was just a great experience all around.
Absolutely. And I mean, you've been making a huge impact for your team since the moment you stepped foot into Northern Kentucky's locker room, ever since you were a freshman. I mean, even as a freshman, you ended up starting, throughout most of that season. You were an all Horizon League third team selection your first year there. You were a Kyle Macy freshman All-American team member, Horizon League freshman of the year, of course, after averaging 16 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 2 assists a game. Just came in and just did your thing. You just dominated. What was it that, kind of clicked for you going into college to where you were able to make an impact right away?
Yeah, I knew going into college that, the type of player I would be and, my traits and things like that. I'm very coachable and learning quickly. I'm a good learner when it comes to new things and, just adapting to the new pace and environment and new teammates. So, I did a really good job of that. And, the coaches, they had a good expectation for me going in. I don't think anybody knew that I would make as big an impact that I did, but I worked really hard to, get to that point and, just playing hard in practice and, just not backing down from any competition. So I think those are the main things that, allowed me to do what I did.
Yeah, and not only did you make an impact right away, but you constantly improved. You upped your numbers individually and helped your team succeed a lot throughout the past few years. Your sophomore year, last year, you had 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2.3 assists a game, all league second team selection. And then this past season, you averaged 19 points, 2.3 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1.3 steals, all Horizon League second team selection again. Obviously, you guys were Horizon League champs, made it to the tournament. You yourself, you were a finalist for the Lou Henson Mid-Major National Player of the Year award. What does that mean to you to get that national recognition as one of the top players in mid-major basketball?
Right. It always feels great, knowing that you put in the work to get to that point. And I don't know, I feel like, what I put in is what I get out and, really showed that season. One of my main goals is to be consistent as possible. And, I really think I was. Maybe had a couple, low scoring games. But besides that, I was consistent and, being a leader, being a good teammate and doing what I can to help the team out win. And so, having those accomplishments toward the end of the season, it was really great because, I really worked for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you said you might have had a couple low scoring games here and there. If you did, it was maybe one or two because you were an absolute bucket getter for Northern Kentucky this past season. 5 straight games of 20 plus points during a great stretch for your team. You had 22 points versus a really tough Cincinnati team that's heading to the Big 12. And then you had 2 games this past season where you just lit it up. 45 points against Tennessee Tech in a double overtime game, and then 30 points against Youngstown State the very next game in another double overtime contest. Talk to me about those 2 games specifically. What happened to where it really flipped the switch for you to where everything just kept falling?
Yeah, starting with the Tennessee Tech game, first we had 2 starters out. One had sickness and one had injury, and so I knew I really had to step up for my team. We had a couple guys, who were low minute guys, really played big minutes that game, and had a lower role. But so that means I really had to step up, mostly offensively, and I did that. I only had I think 10 in the first half, but I really exploded in the second half and overtime. And so, the shots I take in every game, they were just following that game, and I was really hot. And going in the Youngstown game, I mean, I couldn't be more confident. Scoring 45 points the previous game, and so first Horizon League game, that was a amped up game too. Going against Youngstown State, a good team, and so had a good game against them. So I just wanted to keep the momentum going, and yeah, it was good to have those scoring outbursts.
Absolutely. And I know you, like you just mentioned, you had to step up big for your team. Obviously, scoring 45 and then 30, that's you can't really step up bigger than that as an offensive player. But as a leader for your team, you also stepped up a lot, obviously being one of the star guys since your freshman year, being an all conference selection every single season. You're looked to as probably the star guy on your team, that main guy, that number one leader. How have you really embraced that role to be a leader for this team?
Yeah, it's been expected for me now ever since my breakout freshman year, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to improve on since then because I knew I would have to become a leader eventually, just like I did in high school. I'd have to become a leader and not only lead by example, but vocally as well, and just the other parts of it. And so, like I said, I'm still improving to this day because, I was never really an extrovert. I've always been an introvert and quiet guy. And so that's one of the ways that I want my teammates to really, come to me in terms of, follow my leadership is, my vocalness. And so, but like I said, this is one of the things that I've been working on and it is expected, being a team captain and being a leader. So past couple years have been, good progress.
Yeah, and you guys definitely that leadership and the way that you guys really came together as a team and just did your thing throughout the season, had all that success. It really showed, especially during the Horizon League tournament. You guys went in there, one of the top teams in there, and quarterfinals you played Oakland, got the dub 81-74. Semifinals came up, you guys played Youngstown State again, 75-63 dub for you guys. And then the championship game, the finals, you guys ended up pulling out a very close one against Cleveland State, 63-61. Talk to me real quick about that Horizon League tournament when you guys were heading into the first round, what you guys really did to make that run to where you guys could clinch your spot in March Madness.
Yeah, well, first off, it was a battle all year for the first through fourth spots. Honestly, we had a few games that we lost to keep the number one spot, and so the top four teams, it was just decided by like one game. I think the top team was like 15-6 or 15-5 or something like that, Youngstown, and then we were 14-6 at number four seed. So the top four spots were pretty tight, and we ended up getting number four, so we got a home game for the quarterfinals and a bye, and so tough game against Oakland early, and ended up pulling through. Got Youngstown, which was kind of like a give back game because we lost by like 20 in the last meeting in February. So we wanted to really get them, and that was another amped up game. Obviously, just a semifinal game. Being national TV, and so got big lead in that game. If you watched, it was up to like 25 at one point, and so moved on to Cleveland State, and that was a tough game. Both games that year decided by like 1 point, I think, and so both had the same records. We knew it was going to be a tough game going in, but we just kept that same focus and togetherness and mentality and how we wanted to play offensively and just keep that aggressiveness defensively. So we pulled out the win, and like I said, it was good to bring home a championship to Highland Heights.
Yeah, that's always a great feeling to get that conference championship. But an even better feeling for you guys, I'm sure, was being able to step foot on that March Madness court, play in that NCAA tournament. Obviously, you guys were the 16th seed, went against the number one seed in Houston, played a very tough game. Talk to me really quick about that NCAA tournament atmosphere. What was that like for you guys, just being able to be a part of that March Madness environment?
I mean, it was everything we hoped for, everything we dreamed of. I've dreamed of it since I was a kid, watching the NCAA tournaments and just getting to see the March Madness games on TV. You know, it was always a dream of mine, and thank God that I experienced that, and went through everything I did to get to that point. And so we weren't just happy to be there, though. Obviously, we played Houston pretty tough and almost got the win, but we weren't just happy to be there. We wanted to win. We wanted to make it to the next weekend. So we didn't care about being a 16 seed or whatever seed they put us at. And, I was pretty proud of my team and how we played, and I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to go to war with.
And like you said, you guys gave Houston a very tough contest. A lot of times you see these 16 seeds going against number ones. A lot of people are expecting a blowout, 20, 30-point win for the number one seed. But you guys faced Houston and gave them a run for their money. Obviously, Houston, they got the win, but it was 63-52 was the final score. So you guys gave them a run for their money throughout most of that game, and then they just kind of pulled away there towards the end. Talk to me real quick about the preparation heading into that Houston game and what it was like for you and your team throughout that contest.
Yeah, no matter the opponent, we try to go through preparation like just another game, but with obviously just more at stake and win or go home mentality though. And we knew obviously we respected them, number one seed, top four, top five team all year, and so we had a pretty good game plan of locking on their stars. I remember Sasser was doubtable or whatever. And so whether he was playing or not, we were going in with the same focus, same mentality, whether he was playing or not. And so I think we really executed, especially our defense. Our defense really gets a lot of teams who don't have a lot of time to prepare for it. And so, really stuck on them early. And we had a good defensive game, only held them 63 points. Offense wasn't going that much, but, we still had a, great game plan against them and, just fell a little bit short.
Yeah, you guys definitely gave them a lot of trouble with your defense. You guys played a very great game. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way that you guys wanted it to. But now you look towards next season. You look towards another run to get back to the NCAA tournament next year. What are you guys as a team and yourself individually doing to get Northern Kentucky back to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, as soon as that game ended, it was like, we're looking at next season. We're looking at how can we be better? How can we get back to this point? How can we win a game in March Madness? So, lost a few guys transfer portal and a couple of guys graduated. And so we had to look in the portal for some guys, have a good freshman class coming in for sure. So we got some good guys that we, feel confident about, fill the spots that people graduated from. And so, next year on paper, we should be better. But just about putting in the work and allowing the guys to mesh and, gel with each other. And, there's never been a problem with chemistry off the court as well. And so all the teams I've been on, locked in and, friends and hung out and laughed and stuff like that. There's no toxicity around, the environment I've been in. And so that won't be a problem, but it's just preparing, next couple of weeks. We start in June. And so I'm going to be looking forward to that. It's just going to be the start of next season. We're just looking to get back to March Madness.
And I definitely can't wait to see this upcoming season, what you guys do. There's no doubt in my mind that you guys are going to be competing at the highest level to try to make it back there. I want to touch on something that you mentioned. You mentioned a couple of guys entered the transfer portal. You guys had recruited some guys through the transfer portal. Being one of those top players for your team, you see a lot of these guys now in the NCAA where, they average the numbers that you're averaging. They average 20 points a game. They're one of the star players. They enter the transfer portal to try to go to the Power 5 conference level. What was it that kept you at Northern Kentucky to where you're like, you know what, this is my home. This is where I want to be. I want to keep playing for them.
I mean, a lot of factors. Of course, I gave it a thought because I could have went, but at the end of the day, money isn't everything to me. NIL, that isn't really everything to me. Winning is above all to me, honestly, on where I'm at. And so we have a better shot next year to even make March Madness, with the team we have coming in and, just the connection with NKU and I'm being from Lexington, just an hour 15 away. The support system I have here and, my coach, he's from Lexington as well. So we have that connection. And the coaching staff, I mean, I didn't have any problem with any of them, my coach or the assistant coaches or anybody on the training staff. And so it's like I built a deep connection with everybody here, and I didn't feel the need to leave this year. And but yeah, like I said, we have a better team coming in on paper, and we're gonna have a better shot next year. So, like I said, winning is above all to me. And so, if I didn't feel like we couldn't win, I would have left. But I've always feel like winning is going to be there for me. So that's why I stayed.
There's no doubt in my mind there's going to be a lot of winning for Northern Kentucky this next season, especially with you as their leader. I'm sure you're going to be averaging, 20 points a game, doing your thing, beating some Power 5 conference teams, and hopefully making an even bigger run in the NCAA tournament next season. Thank you so much for doing this with me, man. It really means a lot. I'm a big fan. Saw that 45-point game on TV. You are an absolute bucket getter, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Yeah, appreciate you, my guy.
Absolutely. You have a good one, man.